struggling, then you can access personal development counseling to help you figure out your best course for self-improvement. The Restorative Justice Center is here to support the Denham Town community.
Ministry of Justice, come access quality service to keep order within the nation. We facilitate good relation. Need a lady in your pocket. A little is child diversion for you to need expertise. Victim service will help you cope with grief. Restorative justice, build back the peace. No matter where you come from, I will say justice for all Jamaicans. MOJ.
Justice to the people of Jamaica.
Yeah, I love it. I'm Archibald Gordon, and I'm your moderator for today. And welcome to the second in a series of town hall meetings that will be executed by the Social Justice Division of the Ministry of Justice as part of the Justice for All Away tour. And remember early on what I said, that what's the idea behind Justice for All Away? It's about social justice, which is like a parent. It's not like the parent who says, no matter how you behave and no matter how your sisters behave, you all get treated the same way. It means that depending on your circumstances and your unique characteristics, you're treated in a particular kind of way. So it's not that the courthouse must be here, and if you have 50 million miles to go to the courthouse or 100 million miles, you still have to go to the courthouse. It means providing services that come to you, not just in terms of judicial services, in terms of estate planning, etc. And we're going to be talking a little bit about some of those today. But for the moment, I want to welcome the director. Well, we're going to be actually starting with prayer. The Social Division of the Ministry of Justice was established in September 2023 and is now the umbrella division for the alternative justice services offered by the ministry. That is child diversion, victims services, and restorative justice. Along with these justice services, this afternoon, you're going to be able to access legal aid, expungement, and information on estate management from the Administrator General's Department. And as is customary, we're going to be beginning with prayer.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this afternoon. We thank you for the beautiful sunny day that you have given to us, oh God. We thank you for the people of Hanover. And Lord, as we are here today to provide the information for them, we pray that you will be with us. Help us to be able to provide information that will be needed for them to be able to just get the services that they needed and access justice. So Lord, we just invite you into our midst this afternoon, and we pray that all will be done decently and in order. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. Now, at this juncture in the program, we're going to be hearing from our distinguished guests. Firstly, we will hear from the Mayor of Hanover, His Worship the Mayor, Sheridan Samuels, who will be followed by the Member of Parliament for Hanover Western, Miss Tanika Davis. Please make them welcome. First, His Worship the Mayor. Oh, I'm sorry, the Mayor is delayed a little, so I'm going to be moving on to the Member of Parliament for Hanover Western, Miss Tanika Davis. Tamika Davis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hanover for those of you who are visiting. First, allow me to acknowledge our moderator, the Minister of Justice, the Honorable Delroy Chuck, all the other representatives, guests, residents. Today is a good day. Today is a good day because very often we hear people say, we want justice, we want justice. right? And so today, you have the opportunity to get justice because justice is here for all of we. And I am so happy that the minister has chosen Lucy to be his second stop because in Hanover, we have a whole heap of legal issues. So I speak to you not only as the member of parliament, but I'm also an attorney. So I hear the questions, and I know that today you will be set on the right track. So we want justice, and justice is here. And justice is here for all of we. So don't be shy. This is the time that you can put forward all your questions. Whether it is about the dead left land or Auntie Mattie left, whether it's about a divorce, whether a will, the man left and in our menu, whatever the issues. Today is the day you get all your queries answered, and it's done for free. So justice is here, and justice is here for all of we. I want to welcome you. I look forward to a very meaningful and productive day, because in Hanover, Minister, that is how we do. So again, I welcome you all, and I look forward to a very engaging and productive evening. I thank you.
Thank you very much. That is the Member of Parliament for Hanover Western, Ms. Tamika Davis. And now we're going to be inviting forward His Worship, the Mayor, Sheridan Samuels.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I don't have a program with me, so if I don't get to really call your name as it relates to the protocol, then it's okay. So I'm acknowledging everyone that in our presence today. In so doing, let me just say to you, I want to welcome each and everyone here. I want to welcome the students. I want to welcome the teachers. I want to welcome our fellow Hanoverians. And I want to say to you again, good afternoon. Welcome to Hanover. Welcome to Lucy. Welcome to our beautiful parish. And I want to welcome you to the social justice tour that is put on by the Ministry of Justice. I will start by reflecting on Psalms 33:5, verse 5. The Lord loved righteousness and justice. The earth is full of His unfailing love. This text serves as a powerful reminder of our collective commitment to create a fair and just society where every individual can strive. Today, we reaffirm our dedication to promote justice and equality for all. As Nelson Mandela eloquently said, justice is the indispensable foundation of any society. The team Justice of Alawi deepened our share of values and equality, fairness, and compassion. At this point, I would like to extend a warm welcome. I'm the first citizen here now, so I'm going to extend, the Costas is not here. I'm going to extend a warm welcome. I heard the Member of Parliament do it before, but it is my duty to extend a warm welcome to the Minister and his team. Your presence here in Hanover is a testimony to the commitment of social justice. This tour is crucial to our communities because it will address social concerns and promote equality. I commend you, sir, for the involvement of students in these discussions. Empowering our youth with the knowledge and understanding of social justice is vital for our future. Engaging these students will foster a generation of critical thinkers, equipped to address the complex issues facing our society. As we explore this tour, I urge you all to participate in the discussions, ask questions, and seek answers. Remember, justice is not just a destination, it is also a journey that we will undertake together. Let us strive to build a community where voices are heard, rights are respected, and the people have access to equal opportunities. In the word of Martin Luther King Jr., injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Thank you, Minister, for your tireless effort. Thanks also to our student teachers and community leaders for your participation. Together, let's work together and brighten the future where justice reigns supreme. Let's begin the important conversation. Let's sit down and talk today. Let's do it in a manner. Let's do it with one love, one heart, and one destiny. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Worship. And as he said there, the mayor said, this is a partnership. It's a journey that we're all taking together. And in that vein, we want to recognize some of the exhibitors, both units within the Ministry of Justice, but also some of the other partners who have made today possible. That includes the Ministry of Education and Youth. They're exhibitors from the Youth Division, Ministry of Education and Youth. There's the Child Diversion Branch and the Restorative Justice Branch and the Victim Services Branch of the Ministry of Justice. There's a Rural Agricultural Development Authority, that's RADA, the National Housing Trust, and the Heart NSTA Trust, and also the Expungement Division, Ministry of Justice, as well as the Administrator General's Department and the Child Protection and Family Services Agency. So this is very much a partnership. Now, the Ministry of Justice is providing justice and transforming lives, and in its promotion of the alternative justice services, it seeks to help Jamaicans to resolve their conflicts and give them an alternative to the former justice system. So that means that, sometimes when you have problems with people, not everyone wants to spend their time in a courthouse, and that there are other services that the ministry is making, and it's not just for adults as well. Sometimes it's for children. Some of us used to be bad children, like myself. You might go out on the road and fight with someone. You don't want your child to be spending their time in a courthouse. You want them to be able to solve the problems that they have in different kinds of ways. So these are a range of different kind of services that the ministry provides to ensure that not everyone has to go to court, that there are other ways of resolving disputes. And to share the sort of philosophy behind this and the work that you're seeing today, which, as we said, is the second in a part of a series that's about going all across the country, and we started in St. Elizabeth, I would like to invite forward the Minister of Justice, the Honorable Delroy Chuck.
Oh, thank you very much, Archibald. I thought you were going to do some of the other people first, so I wasn't too sure that I was coming on, and including Superintendent Niche. Why didn't you bring him on first? Anyway, it's always a pleasure to be here and to participate in a justice fair. You see, we have the booths, and these booths are really extolling the virtues of the justice services, the alternate justice services being provided by the Ministry of Justice. And what we're saying is that we're bringing justice to the people, because as you know, there can be no peace without justice. And as we encourage all Jamaicans to utilize the services of the ministry, right across Jamaica, we have justice services in every parish. And once persons utilize the services of the ministry, then their lives can be transformed. I have no doubt that you have restorative justice, where people who are in conflicts, they can get together with a facilitator to ensure that their lives and the conflict can be resolved, and they can heal the problem between them and restore the relationship. We have victim services, where persons who have been hurt, sometimes within the homes, maybe in the neighborhood or the community, and we are urging victims not to take revenge or retaliation. Get help, get in touch with the Victim Services Division here in Lucy, and they can counsel you, they can assist you with psychological support, they can assist you with regular counseling, and avoid you taking up arms, because by the counseling, they can help you to heal the frustration, disappointment, and trauma of being abused. Now, Superintendent Niche will tell you that many of the murders and violence across Jamaica, a good proportion of them is because of revenge. What happens? Somebody does something, hurt someone, sometimes hurt the family, and the family or another side feel that they have to take revenge. They're not waiting on the courts to do it. And I say it is wrong. Get counseling. Talk to the police. Talk to the social justice section. And by doing so, you're able to resolve the problem rather than getting into further problems. Because when you take revenge and retaliation, you're creating problems for yourself and your family. And you can't go tell the court that it is justified in taking revenge because them lick you first. From you take revenge, it is a new act. And while I speak about that, I want to congratulate the police in Hanover, led by Superintendent Niche. Since the beginning of the year, murders have gone down by almost 30%, 29.2%. And Superintendent Niche, you and your other police officers must be congratulated, and I urge you continue the good work, sir. Hanover doesn't deserve any crime, any murders. Let us hope we can keep it down for the rest of the year. People's lives are being affected when the criminals and miscreants take it upon themselves to commit violence and murder. So, Superintendent Niche, I have asked the Justices of the Peace, I have asked the political representative, I have asked all Hanover to give you full support, sir, to make sure we keep crime down in Hanover, as we must do across Jamaica. Hanoverians, I can tell you, if we can keep murders and crimes down, then we'll have more tourists coming in all over across the North Coast. Many hotels are up, and we can get a lot more tourists if we can just keep crime down. So every single one of us have a duty to assist the police, to work with one another, work in partnership with other stakeholders and the police to ensure that we can keep crime down. And I can tell you, the Justice Ministry is working overtime, as you can see, to get all the services to the people of Jamaica in every nook and cranny. We're training restorative justice facilitators. We're training child diversion officers. Tomorrow I will be at Rusty's school with a lot of children to urge them amongst themselves, be disciplined, and even stand up to your family who want to be indisciplined. Because if we can capture the young, then they can also tell their parents, cut out the fight, cut out the violence. And that is something that we will be doing. And I can tell you, as we go across Jamaica, we have the Administrator General's Department here with us. They're going to tell you they're here about making a will, or if a member of your family died, get to the Administrator General, because nothing causes problem in Jamaica more than deadlift. I don't know when I'm fight over a little piece of land, fight over a piece of furniture. And all I'm really saying, when a person dies, hopefully they will make the will, and the testator, person who died, we can say how the estate must be distributed. But if they fail to do so, please, please go to the Administrator General and get advice as to how the property can and should be distributed. We need to heal the disputes and disagreements. That is normal. That is something that happens every day. Nothing is wrong with you and I disagreeing. Nothing is wrong every now and then there's a dispute. But there's no need to fight. And if you need help, we have the services at the justice centers, at the victim services, at restorative justice. Seek help, because we want to provide and assist in delivering the justice so that your lives can remain in a calm, peaceful, and harmonious way. Now, even the courts, we are working overtime. The Chief Justice is doing a fantastic job in inspiring all of the parish court judges to expedite the completion of cases. And I have to tell you, Hanover is one of the best. The courts in Hanover, over the last 3-4 years, are working harder than most of the parishes. Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth was trying to catch up with them, but Hanover moved ahead again. And they're, in other words, in Hanover, you will find that when you go to the courts, be it in Green Island, Sandy Bay, or Lucy, or the family court, cases are moving out very quickly. And you can go there, and the Minister of Justice is responding. We're going to fix up the court properly. Anybody who have to go to court, we're going to make sure you're in air condition and enjoy the ambience of being in court. So, Hanoverians, I have to tell you, our justice system, social justice, justice services, we are at the best ever in our history. We, the people, must start lifting ourselves and ensuring that we consider our brothers and be our brothers' keepers. Let Jamaica become that great paradise that God meant it to be. I congratulate all of you for being with us, and I really want to ensure that the political representatives, mayor, and our MP, police officers, other stakeholders can be worked with to make Hanover a top parish across Jamaica. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Minister. And as you said there, that AC, everyone has been seeing me sweat all the time. So, no, you don't want this idea of having an equitable justice system means that the courthouse, no matter where it is supposed to have the same level of services. You're not any less depending on where you live. Justice for all away. So at this point, we're going to be transitioning into the second part of the presentation today. And we are going to be hearing presentations from 3 people, 3 short presentations, before we have the question and answer segment. So I'm going to be inviting them up one at a time. And then when the 3 of them have completed, we'll invite a 4th person, and then we'll open the floor to questions. And again, if you're on the outside, it's not some special ceremony for special people. It is for everyone. So you can come on the inside. There are some chairs there. We can use up some of the chairs. There are services from the different partners who are working with the Ministry of Justice on this initiative. At this point, I'd like to invite forward to discuss estate planning, or as we like to call it, deadlift, Karen Campbell-Basco from the Administrator General's Department.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, the Honorable Minister, Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Justice, Superintendent Nish, and political representatives. Mayor, good afternoon. Warm greetings as well to you, our citizens of Hanover. I'm told yesterday that you are called Hanoverians. Did I get it right? Nice to be with you today. And the Administrator General's Department wants to engage with you to encourage you to plan for your estate. And what am I calling your estate? Whatever you're going to die leaving. Now, I don't know how many of you know when you're going to die. And if you know, tell me, and tell me how you found that out. Because if you don't know when, then it means you have to plan, because it can be any time. And I know death is not something that we like to talk about, right? Because we think if we talk about it, we're being a little bit too forward and probably we're calling down death. So one of the things we want to encourage you to do is to plan. And you're not planning for yourself, you're planning for your loved ones, the children, the spouse, those who can't manage after you go, and you want to put better things in place. So making a will is one way in which you can plan for them. Minister Chuck just reminded us about the dead left and how people behave when things leave back after people dead. We have found that the best of siblings, the best of husband and probably children even, when somebody dies, they just don't get along well. We have spouses taking children to court, children taking spouses to court, because the things were not organized properly. And so now that the person has gone and they've stopped grieving, or probably is part of the grief, them start to fight. And we know sometimes it ends up in people dying. But if you plan good, if you do some joint bank accounts, or if you consider putting persons on your insurance policies as beneficiaries, or if you look about the land, get it registered, put the names of who you want to get it, or do your will and tell who you want to get it. That will help. And making your will not indicate that you're going to die soon, because a will is just your preparation and to have something that speaks for you after death. Now, the Administrator General's Department, main office located in Kingston, but we do have an office close to you in Montego Bay on Union Street, the NHT building. So if you need some assistance and you want to come in physically, then you can go to Montego Bay, or if you are in Kingston. If not, jump on the phone, jump on the social media. We have a booth across there. You can get some additional information and the will form if you want. And then I'm going to be here as well to answer questions if you have. So I'll look forward to your questions just after the presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I need to talk to you afterwards about a piece of land, actually. We're also talking about how we can support victims of crime, because one way of doing it is by going to court, but the other way may also be talking it out, but that depends on the service. So today we're going to be talking about how we can support victims of crime with victim services presented by Mrs. Juven July Burt, who is Victim Services Officer for Hanover. We're inviting her forward, please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon again, everyone. Good afternoon. All right. So as Mr. Archibald said, I am the Victim Services Officer, and I'm representing the Hanover Victim Services branch. I ask at this time that all protocols be observed. So just to give you an overview of what the branch is, the Victim Services branch, formerly known as the Victim Services Division and Victim Support Unit, is one of 3 branches which forms the Ministry of Justice's Social Justice Division. The branch has been established for over 25 years, since the year 1998. And its primary mandate, then and now, is to offer psycho-emotional support and technical advice to individuals who are victims of crime. Our services are offered to both adults and children in a safe, comfortable, confidential, and non-judgmental environment. Most importantly, our services are free of cost. Approximately 45% of our clientele are children. They come with issues including sexual abuse, suicidal ideations and intents, emotional distress and grief. The sexual abuse mentioned earlier speaks to all forms of sexual assaults, including rape, sexual intercourse with a person under 16, indecent assault, grievous sexual assault, incest, just to name a few. Adults are also seen for cases of sexual abuse, as well as intimate partner violence and other domestic-related situations. Each case seen is unique, so it is not a one-size-that-fits-all situation. Whenever the clients come to us, be it a child or an adult, an assessment is firstly done to ascertain the needs of the clients. Then, a tailored, client-focused treatment plan is designed to help each client. For our young clients, the branch also has a vigorous Children in Court program that is designed to properly prepare our children as they engage in the court process. We engage our children in play and art therapy to help them express themselves more effectively and to build trust and rapport. Each office across the island has a play therapy room equipped with age-appropriate toys and materials to help our children relax as sessions are done. The commitment of the Victim Services Branch to the best interest of victims is actualized through the following services: emotional support, crisis intervention, court orientation and readiness, and this includes court accompaniment as well, training, advocacy, and public education and sensitization. We get our cases mainly through referrals from the police, churches, etc. The branch has, as I said, the branch has been around for over 25 years. So far, the Hanover Victim Services Branch has serviced over 250 new clients, of which 42 of those situations are domestic-related matters, 32 assaults, 19 intimate partner violence situations. Now, the Hanover Victim Services Branch is located at Shop 12, Tag Plaza, that's Horton Court Drive. Immediately upstairs, the Knutsford Express office. We are open from Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 to 5 p.m. on a Monday to Thursdays, and on Fridays, we close at 4 p.m. The office number is 876-956-3143. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and she's joining us on the stage right now. And finally joining us this afternoon, one of my favorite folks from the Ministry of Justice. She's so passionate about legal aid. You know, you can see it in her face all the time. She speaks with such passion. I'm talking here of Diane Watson. She is Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. In the interest of time, I'll just adopt the protocols that have already been established and say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. So as Mr. Gordon just mentioned, I'm going to be speaking briefly about legal aid. So at the Legal Aid Council, what we do is that we provide lawyers for persons who have been arrested or detained, or if they have a criminal matter in court. And we also give legal advice. So when someone is arrested, once they've been arrested, just call us. We'll send a lawyer, and that lawyer we call a duty counsel, and that service is completely free. And you will know that lawyer fee is not cheap. So if you know of someone who's in custody, just tell them to give us a call or ask the police to call duty counsel. And what I've noticed is that in Hanover, we don't get a lot of claims for duty counsel services. Nobody's calling duty counsel. So I don't know if the crime rate is low, or it is that persons are not aware of it, or people rich and can afford their own attorneys. But if you know somebody who doesn't know, tell them to call us at Legal Aid Council, or ask the police to call a duty counsel. So we provide lawyers for court for legal representation. For that service, though, we ask that you complete an application form. So if you complete an application form, we determine if you qualify for the service. Most persons do. And sometimes we ask for a small contribution, and that goes towards their defense. We use that money when we collect it to pay for like expert witness. Suppose you need to do a DNA test, or you need fingerprint expert. We use the money to pay for that for you. And then one of my favorite services that we offer now is the mobile justice service. It's a beautiful bus out there. We have lawyers on the bus, and we give free legal advice. So it's not just for those who get into trouble that we provide a service. We also provide a service to give you advice, because we don't want you to get into trouble, and we want you to know your rights, and we want you to know your obligations. So we are here this evening. I know you have a lot of questions to ask, legal questions. We're here to answer them. So I thank you so much. I'm going to keep it short, but I'm here to answer any question that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very Thank you very much. No, that question that you asked earlier, we actually have the person on hand who can answer that question, and he actually is going to be completing our panel. And I'm speaking here of Superintendent Andrew Nish, who is commanding officer for the Hanover Police Division. He's going to join us on the stage as well. I don't know if he has a couple of opening comments generally before we launch into the presentation, before we launch into the question and answer section.
All right, thank you very much, Archibald. Honorable Minister, Mr. Delroy Chuck, and the team from the Ministry of Justice, distinguished guests, His Worship the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, other councillors, Hanoverians, good evening. Good evening. All right, standing as a police officer, I'm sure one of the things that we want to think about is this is where justice actually starts from. Because once there's a problem, the initial contact is the police station. That is fine. It is good that all the entities are here, restorative, the victim support, and they are here for the main purpose to listen to us all and ensure that whatever issues you have, they are resolved properly. We'll sit and listen to the questions, and as they are posed, we will do our best to answer them. All right, so that is it from me for right now, and we will speak later. Thank you.
All right, short and sweet. But just before we go, I would like to welcome the Costas, who has joined us, the representative of the Costas who's joined us this afternoon. But just before we go into the panel discussion, I would like to welcome, for our final presentation, we're going to be talking about the impact of RP training in schools and vulnerable communities, Mr. Moyan Martin and Mr. Akeem Bender from the Ministry of National Security.
Okay, thank you everyone. Good evening, all protocols observed. I'll just try to keep it short and spicy as quickly as I can. I'll run through this presentation. So the Ministry of National Security, we collaborate with a number of MDAs, to include the Ministry of Justice, to carry out its mandate in the Citizen Security Plan in making significant contributions in crime and violence reduction, providing safer spaces, and to improve human and community development. Okay, so on your screen now, you are seeing a map. That map is showing hot communities. Hot in terms of murders and shooting. So we would have looked at two periods, two fiscal years. One is 2022 and 2023, and also 2023-2024. So that's a comparison between the two periods in terms of murders and shooting by communities. So the lighter the color that you're seeing is the less incidence of murders and shooting happening in those those communities. All right, and I would have prepared a brief map there that is showing hot street segments, Superintendent, in terms of murders and shooting that drill down on the street segments in which you are having in the parish most of the murders and shootings occurring. Go on. Okay, so this is the most important part of the presentation. Those round circles that you're seeing are where we have schools located across the parish. And I see it's overlaid with the murders and shooting in the parish. And those circles that you're showing are clusters where persons were trained in RP training for restorative justice. That's where now you could see where there are the clusters. And the gaps perhaps where we'd want to beef up those training within the parish to get more people empowered in how to deliver these training. And for the Heart NSTA Trust, we have the same thing. So analyzing this map, you are seeing the clusters where we have certified individuals, persons who are certified from Heart across various disciplines. And also, as it relates to the murders and shooting hotspots again in the parish. So briefly, that's how, that's the presentation. Basically, the Ministry of National Security will continue to partner with the Ministry of Justice as we strive to continue building on gains we have achieved, and we are honored to have a role to play in the delivery of justice to residents of Hanover and to the overall populace of Jamaica, land we love. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you very much. At this point, we're going to be opening the floor to questions. A couple of ground rules, house rules as we go about. Microphones are placed, they're around in the audience. Just raise your hand and someone will bring one to you and can be accessed for you to ask your questions. If you know who you want to address your question to, please state their name before you ask your question. You can keep your questions as short as possible, about 30 seconds. And you can return to your seat as soon as you complete your question. So again, we're opening up the floor to questions. If you're outside, if you're on the outskirts, you can come inside, you can come closer. Just raise your hand if you have a question. Any questions to begin? Yes, one question there in the audience. Oh, wow. Quick, right beside you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thanks for having the Minister of Justice here. My name is Miss Anna Diana Levy. And my question is, why when a police officer murder a civilian, they doesn't charge them? But when a civilian murder anyone, they are charged?
Superintendent?
Thank you very much for your question, ma'am. And let me see if I understand you clearly. The question is,
yes,
why is it that when a police officer murders someone, they don't charge that person, meaning the policeman? Good. And why is it that when a civilian murders another civilian, that person is charged? All right, beautiful. In the justice system, we have the Independent Commission of Investigation. We refer to it as INDECOM. Whenever there is any form of police excesses, alleged police excesses, they are the one who actually investigates these incidents. At the end of their investigations, they declare their finding. There are times when police officers are charged, and there are times when they are free from blame. Sure.
Was murdered by my brother Joshua Michael Levy, was murdered by one of the Lucy police right out there. For 6 months, Indicom said they don't finish the investigation. The autopsy showed that he had received 3 bullets and the police said it's 2. The Levites family here are waiting for some answers. They didn't visit the family. They treat us very bad. Indicom is not doing anything on the Levy behalf. So I want to know what is the Chief Justice is going to say about this. Because England is watching this. Rome is watching it. The world is watching what is coming out of Hanover Lucy. For Joshua Michael Levy, the son of James Levy, and the son of Leonie Eade, the grandson of Uriah Augustus Levy, the great-grandson of First John Watson, and the grandson of Anna. And I am the sister Hannah Levy. The police, they don't do anything, and there is no law in the land. If you don't have money, there is no right for the poor. No one care about the poor. So I want to know what is the minister, Mr. Chuck, is saying to the Levite tribe and the family of Joshua.
If I may, thank you very much for that information, ma'am. A loss of life is truly regrettable. As it relates to the investigation in this matter, I personally will make checks and I will update you accordingly.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions? Question here. Question at the front.
Yes, good
Yes,
evening to everyone. I am David Campbell, live right here in Lucy ever since I was born. I did work for a man who paid me in court, but set the case aside and then come back to have it tried and lost it to me. After he had lost it, I have been through many things dealing with the courthouse about it. I went to the public defender who gave me a document to the suit, and the instruction on this document is saying that if action should be taken by the government to the administrator, then they should. Well, I brought this document to this suit, and there was no action taken, and the administrator has given the suit a document that the suit didn't went for, and after that I heard nothing. It is just going down in the dust. And right now I am facing challenges because a judge has took document from me also and read it, and what is on it is the action for the court to do, and it's a year now and I still hear nothing. So I am standing here in the blue. I have spent so much money, and the man who I sued has paid me in front of me, and this court and these people are taking what I pay and taking what the man has paid to me. I want to know, what is that to a citizen here?
I don't think the superintendent can answer that one. I don't know what's not, because this is not, for clarity, the kind of thing that is dealt with where legal aid is concerned, which is about a criminal case. So if the police charge you with a crime, go ahead.
Right. We've spoken, so I kind of have an idea of what he's talking about. But it's a matter relating to enforcement of a judgment. But it has some other complications that we would need a court's office to explain before we can properly advise him.
So there you are. So you say you spoke to him today. So they spoke to you today, sir, and we'll be following up on it because it's very specific. Your details are very specific. And so, you know, they need to get some more. So you need to get some more information so that we can deal with that. Are there any questions in relation to, I mean, we have the superintendent here, we have legal aid, we have dead left. No questions? Not dead left. I need to say estate planning. All right, that actually leads me to a question that I have about estate planning, because when we say estate planning, it's not like a really, really big word. And you are saying that there, you know, once you own anything, what is anything? Is my piece of furniture? Is my piece of land? Because when you think of dead left, we're thinking of land. But what are some of the items that, in your experience, you found that people are, you know, perhaps quarreling over that you didn't expect them to be quarreling over, or things that people don't consider? Because people might consider land, but not anything else.
Okay, thank you. So when we're talking about estate, we're talking about the assets and what you died leaving. And for assets, we're looking at dollar value assets for the legal part of it. So it's the land, the car, the shares, the money in the bank.
Minister said furniture. Furniture?
Furniture as well.
People quarrel over furniture.
People quarrel over furniture.
Okay.
People quarrel over which part of the land grandma said they must get. People quarrel over the jewelry that grandma used to wear. But once it has a dollar value, so if it can be, we use the word appraised, somebody can tell us the value of it, then we can bring it under the administration. But there are sometimes property that has sentimental value. And sometimes, too, you may need some intervention to help you to treat with those types of assets.
Like what?
So even sometimes the jewelry might not have a dollar value. You wouldn't get much for it if you try to sell it. But it means a lot because it's coming through several generations in the same family.
So like your great-grandmother's special ring?
Yes. Mm-hmm. That might not be real, but they love it, and grandma always had it on for years, and so people find value in that. Most persons who have assets that has sentimental value, what we encourage you to do is to write your will. And then you say, my red ruby ring, I leave it to Mary. My slippers, sometimes them even just something personal, many persons will fight over because it allows them to feel attached to the person that they've lost.
Anybody ever has to give away anything or put away anything because you just have a lot of things, like you buy a lot of shirts and after a while you have to do away with some of the shirts? So that's my question then, because we acquire a lot of things over time. So I'm going to have 2 pair of earrings, I'm going to have a chain.
Clothes even.
I'm going to have a lot of clothes.
A nice
so
jacket.
how am I writing, how often am I writing and updating my will? Because that seemed like I'd be doing it every month.
Well, you update as frequently as you acquire new assets, but you also update frequently as you recognize that you want to give more to different persons. So there's no timeline in which to update, except, for example, when you have a new child or you got married. But otherwise, as soon as you realize you want to do something else, you add it to your will or you write a new one, or you can do a document that says, this is another part of my will.
No, I have a will. I always tell people this, and one of the reasons. Any questions in the audience? A question here. Let's go to the audience first and then come back. Go on.
Good afternoon,
Good
everyone.
afternoon, sir.
How long a police record take to expunge?
Expungement?
From 2023 and now 2024. And when I look on the paper what them give me, on November 17, and November 17 is a Sunday. So what's the problem?
All right, cool.
I'm waiting so long.
So first, what is expungement?
Okay, so that's when you get your record clean. For those persons who don't know, if you have a criminal record and you want to wipe the record clean, you can make an application to the Ministry of Justice, and the board will consider it. But you need some other things, you need all of that.
I make that already
Right.
now and send it back up there.
So how long
and
it takes?
And I go back to Kingston.
Right. So how long it takes will depend on the type of offense for it to be expunged, and there are other factors. But there's a booth right over there, the lady from expungement. She probably would be better able to give you all of the information relating to your expungement matter.
I never commit a gun crime, a raping crime, just a little blood crime.
A little
and
blood
I can't
crime.
And I can't get through. So
Oh,
long.
no.
Yeah. From me a 24-year-old.
Oh, it's a long time
Long,
ago.
long time.
All right, so the lady over there, she will help you. Just go to the booth, the first booth right there.
Yeah, I mean, pull up them the farm and send it up already.
Right, just wait a little. Have a little more patience. We ask you for a little more forbearance. We're just waiting on the police to send up your record.
It
and
gone
then-
up long time.
No, when they get it, they'll send it to a board, a committee meeting. They'll meet and get in touch with you. So the police needs to send something else to the ministry.
Like what?
It's your record.
Then my record gone up long time, so send it
All
up
right,
now.
just speak with the lady over there and she'll give you more information regarding your specific matter.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Any other questions here? It's not because Ms. Watts is not willing to answer, it's because she's not the expert on this area. And your case is very specific. So we wanted to get the information you actually need. Sir, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Mhm.
My name is Anthony Bingham. Although Archie asked a question earlier on, and I hear partially some answer in terms of a will. Say, for instance, I made a will to one of my sons, and that son passed off. Okay, that will still remain, or should I make additional to it, or what?
Good, very good question. So that's one of the ways in which you need to update your will. So if the person you're leaving a gift for dies before you, then you need to go back and the gift you were giving to your son, for example, state on there who you now want to give it to. Because if you don't do that, it may fall to somebody else who you may not want to get it, if you don't have your will structured in a particular way to tell us who else, if the persons on there are already deceased. So if they die before you, go and update the will. So update your will if that's the situation.
Thank you very much.
Updating your will is one way, but you can write it in a particular way as well. In
So
this
update
person or this person, can I write like that?
No. Well, yes, but you'd have to be very specific. So you could, for example, say, I leave my motor vehicle, Toyota Camry, to my son for his lifetime, and after his death, I leave to Mary, my daughter. So you would say, that is saying to us, give it to Tom, but if when they're distributing, Tom is no longer there, then give it to the next person. So you can write it in that way as well. All right?
So, in addition to the question, So it's just saying that to rewrite a will then.
It's best to rewrite it if you have the opportunity to. If you are going to make any physical changes on that will, you will have to sign where you make that cross out, and the two persons who witness the will with you will have to also sign. And if it's not done properly, we may have challenges after you've passed. So the ideal situation is to rewrite it, but if you can make the edits and find back the two witnesses to sign it, then the three of you can sign at the change.
I will ask if we write it over.
It's best. If you have the time, write it over.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you give yourself a certain amount of time to update it, and you just update it all at once. Yes, sir. Go ahead. There's a question over here. Well, there's a question at the back. Let me just ask the gentleman back right here, since he hasn't asked a question before.
Good evening, everyone. It's very much unfortunate that there is no one here who can actually answer to this question, but I hope the minister can actually answer it for me or even guide me, because whenever someone seeking an expungement or a criminal record, the first process is to apply, go ahead to the tax office and pay for it. You go to the different areas, send it up to the ministry area. That process really go fast. But whenever it reaches stage 2, the ministry area, that is when it will take years. And it's the same process to which you had paid for through the tax office process. Now the same process instead of take normally 3 months, it's taking 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe a year or 2 years. Now, I am one of the persons who is very interested in finding out about the expungement, because a lot of persons may say that they are victims, and they are also victims on both sides. Persons don't know about these things, so this thing needs to be highlighted. So I am asking that there should be some form of measures.
Let me help you quickly. Cut the chase. The problem is that when you send in the application, we just don't expunge it like that, because we don't even know if you have a criminal record. So we have to send it to the criminal register, CRO, the criminal records office. And that is where the holdup is. The problem is the criminal records office is overburdened with so many applications. And ours is specialized. They have to check it out and send back a report to us. And because it has been a problem in terms of time, we expunge hundreds every month. But I am aware that some are still in the backlog because the Criminal Records Office may not have been able to find them. And so the Criminal Records Office or the Ministry of Justice have to get in touch with the parish court, say, that the offense may have been tried in order to get the record. It is a matter which we are aware of at the Ministry of Justice, the time it takes to get back the information, because unless you verify that there is a crime, you can't expunge it. But we have been in touch with the Ministry of National Security. We are going to pay some people to be there that just deal with applications from the Ministry of Justice, okay?
Well, it is good to know that you have identified that there's definitely weaknesses in the system. But what about the persons who are still, life is on hold?
Well, it's going to remain on hold until we can get the record.
I understand that's what you're saying, Mr. Minister. I truly understand. But I'm saying that we identify
we know that there's a good backlog, some of them, as you quite rightly say, in terms of years. There are some records that can be expunged, and we tell you right away when we get the record. So if you're charged for some serious offenses, within a matter of weeks, we just tell you it can't be expunged. But sometimes you might put in that you were charged for this offense, and it turns out it may be a lesser offense when it comes from the Criminal Records Office and can be expunged. You see, so it's very important. You would say, for example, that you may be charged with an offense, and when we get the Criminal Records Office, it's much more than you told us. So we can't just expunge the one that you say you have committed, and when we get the record from the Criminal Records Office, there are 3, 4 more. So we have to get the record from the Criminal Records Office. But we are working to clear up the backlog, okay?
Okay, fine. One more thing. I like this drive to encourage everyone and educate a lot of persons about this whole thing, because when I started with the expungement, I realized that a lot of persons don't really understand the whole process. So you have a lot of times you go back and forth, like for months before you can actually reach where you want to go. So I would like to advocate, I even implore the relevant authorities to ensure that they have a better thing out to educate the public, not just here in Hanover, but the citizens of Jamaica.
Yes, well, the ministry has been doing a lot of public relations, and you see that mobile bus there, we're in Hanover every first Friday, and their lawyers on it will assist persons to complete application forms for expungement and to give them the information as to, about how to go about it. So we come to the Restorative Justice Center on Miller Drive, is across from Sinclair's, every first Friday.
And you're going, this mobile unit is going around the country?
We travel across the island. Right, and if you call 888-JUSTICE, 888, that's what we're doing. Like, this forum is a way of promoting it more. He says he wants it promoted more. So it's 888-JUSTICE. If you call that number, so it's 888-587-8423.
All right, so those services are available. 888-JUSTICE, there's a question right here again.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Is all crime committed can be expunged?
What crimes cannot be expunged?
What crime cannot?
If serious offenses,
so there's an expungement expert here. She's going to just join us at the front so the people on social can see as well. We're going to ask her to come right up here, although she doesn't want to. But we're going to ask her to come a little up here so that the people at the front can see. So expungement, big word. What it means is clearing your criminal record, right? And what kind of crimes, what kind of charges of crimes can be expunged?
Okay, heinous crimes cannot be expunged, like illegal possession of firearm and ammunition, indecent assault, any sexual offenses cannot be expunged. Murder, rape, those offenses cannot be expunged.
Yes. So any serious offense at all, any sexual offense as well. Any sexual offense. What kind of offenses can be expunged? Can you get your record cleared for?
Simple larceny, unlawful wounding.
Probably assault or be harm.
Yeah.
Anything that's not a serious crime or a sexual crime is something you can make expunged for.
Possession of, That's why the gentleman said he just committed a blood crime. That's what he said.
All right, thank you very much. So any more questions in the audience? Again, remember, we are here for you. On this? All right, sir, can we just get him a microphone, please?
This question is for Mr. Nish. I'm a very peaceful man. I have not have any conviction at all, and I am 72 years old. I experienced serious things because of this case, losing my billfold, and after that I was attacked and hit in my face that caused blood from my face. I have to go to hospital. And I called the police because how I could come out of my yard is because this lady said she going for her gun. So I run out of my yard with this little baby and call the police, and the police come. The police brought me to the station with blood coming from my face. And the lady was not arrested. And after that, I was being framed for indecent assault. And I stand up because it wasn't true. And the judge and clerk of court did not find it true because who accused me is the same lady that want to take these papers. And right now the lady is living at my backyard. After the case is done, I can't function there. And she's still living there. I'm in fear because this gun, I could be shot at any time. So I want to know about that. No one didn't arrest her for running the blood from me, but I was arrested for indecent assault, which wasn't true, because they planned to get rid of me and then they will get a count and get me land.
Superintendent, it sounds like he needs to talk to you specifically.
That's what I was say. I was
Yes,
about to
sir.
say.
So-
Gotcha.
Yeah, that sounds like something you need to come to the police station for.
Yes.
But there are some there are some principles there about well, two things that I want us to explore. One, the question of generally your specific case, you need to go to the police station because it's very specific.
I called the police.
No.
And the police came and took us to the station.
Superintendent, can you deal with this specifically? Can you?
Well, this this information can be verified because it is our policy that once a report is made to the station, it is dealt with. Once that person makes that report, he's given a crime reference number, a CR10, and that follows the case until the end of court.
So you can look it up and talk. So he will talk specifically to you after because you have very specific circumstances that we don't want to answer that generally because what's happening to you might not be what's happening to everybody. But it's not that they won't answer. It's that he's going to talk to you specifically afterwards. But there are 2 points here that we want to talk about generally, which is this issue of disputes and dispute resolution. One way is by going to the police station. When you go to the police station, you have a dispute with your neighbor or with your family member or anyone. What are you supposed to be receiving and getting from the police? That's first.
All right. So let me just start with Mr. Campbell's matter.
Yes.
Now, there are times when the dispute starts at home. When it reaches the police station, the flavor changes. One of the key things is that the complainant is sometimes a family member or a close friend, or they are in a relationship. And during the process of recording the information, speaking to both, they have a change of heart. And so the statement that we need to complete the case file to put the matter before the court is sometimes not coming to us. And so I encourage my officers that notwithstanding the complainant does not want to give us a statement to the police, we need to, as best as possible, record everything that we see and then try to put the matter before the court and allow the judge to deal with it.
And there's something that you can do as an individual as well in terms of just making sure. So if I show up at the police station and I say I have a dispute, how do I make sure that I don't end up in a scenario in which I can't, I don't have a report. Do I get a report? Do I get a particular number? What do I as a citizen ensure that I get when I go to the police station?
All right. First, you'll get what we call a crime reference number. The crime reference book is done in triplicate. You get a copy. One remains for our checks and balances.
So this is like the police's special receipt?
This is a police special receipt.
This is my police station receipt. Go on.
Good. If we identify marks of violence, the next thing we will do is ensure that you get medical attention.
So this is if I have a cut,
a bruise,
if I have
swollen
a bruise,
forehead,
something like that.
Whichever.
Go on.
All right? And this is on the premise where I say, even if the complainant decide not to proceed, once we start the process, we saw the wounds, we issue the medical letter, then we will still go ahead and put the matter before the court, hoping that it will be resolved amicable by both parties turning up when it's day for court.
All right. Now, if I want to get advice, that's one thing, but there are also services that the ministry provides to ensure that if you have a dispute and you don't know where the dispute should go, legal information, how does the ministry help with that?
Before you go
Yes,
to the
one
ministry,
question before we go to that.
one of the things that we employed here in Hanover is what we call follow-up action. So even after the matter has gone before the court, we have a duty to check with the parties involved to see what is happening after the court matter. Because, I mean, just immediately after court or whatever, something might trigger it, and then we have a continuation of the same conflict.
Right,
so we ensure that we do our follow-ups.
All right. I'm asking here, and I see a member of the ministry team coming up to talk about how the ministry can help in terms of the kinds of services it can provide.
Restorative justice for persons who, want to resolve their
Yes,
conflict.
because you don't just want to go to court. Court can be inconvenient, it can be far, it can be very expensive to hire a lawyer. and their services that the ministry provides. So that's what you should be getting from the police. But how can the ministry help you?
All right, so the Ministry of Justice has a restorative justice program. We are just across from Hori Hori, our Sinclair Bagging Center, CAP Complex. Persons can come into us without going to the police or the court. If you know neighbors who are not living in peace, you can also reach out to them. So I hear persons are saying we're having challenges with our neighbor. It might be some random person. You can actually use restorative justice to remedy some of these challenges. The service is free, as with all other services from the ministry. And once it is that the persons agree, we allow them to sit in a safe space where they can share how they've been affected, what they want to see happen, and then also how it is that they can move forward.
And I always say restorative justice is one of these fancy terms. But in terms of what I see when I come there, what will I see? What do I get from restorative justice? What does it look like?
All right, so what restorative justice or RJ looks like is that you have an individual one-on-one session. So you're having a challenge, you actually have somebody sit down and listen to you, allow you the opportunity to truly share what is going on. And this is something that we can't take for granted in our society, because a lot of persons don't get the space where they can truly share what is happening with them. So someone listens to you, and then we bring together the other person in the matter. So both persons now come together in a circle with their representatives or their support persons, right? So you, your support person, plus a community supporter and the facilitators get to sit down and walk through what has happened, how you've been affected, and then also what are your needs and how those needs can be addressed.
And I have one question in relation to this, because I remember hearing it for the first time years ago, 20 years now, 20 odd years in journalism, about the impact of restorative justice in Augustown. And I said, this sounds like a fairy tale, don't it? I'm going to be talking to my neighbor whom I can't get along with, and this is going to restore crime. How many of those cases actually make it to court?
In terms of restorative justice
does it work? Yeah.
All right. So in terms of the cases from community members or so on getting to court, we have quite a number of cases that come to us through the court. Most of our cases come through the court as it is now. But we also have other stakeholders who are coming to us. Now, it sounds like all you're going to be doing is just talking. But what persons don't understand and cannot yet appreciate without going through the process is that it has worked in Augustown and it will continue to work in other communities, because it's not just talking, but it is direct, constructive dialogue that helps you to identify your emotions and to put a name to those emotions and to identify the needs which have been created from those emotions, and then also to treat with them.
And a lot of those cases get resolved as a consequence.
Yes.
As a consequence.
We currently have 21 restorative justice centers, including parish justice centers. We have one here in Hanover, but also, despite the location being at CAP Complex, we have where our team and our facilitators can be mobilized across the communities. So whether you're here in Lucy, whether you're in Hopewell, Sandy Bay, if you're on Dyer Side, if you're in Caldwell, Prospect, it doesn't matter where in Hanover you are or your relatives are, we can bring justice to you, and we can bring restorative justice in particular to help you resolve the conflicts that you have.
And that's what social justice is about. It means taking justice to you, not just you having to, inconvenience yourself. I've been getting the wrap-up signal for a while. I know I need to wrap up, but I captured her for most of the afternoon, so I have to ask her one question. Because to go full circle with this, also understanding that you can be a victim of crime, that something can happen to you, and the services that you need could be beyond that. It's beyond just going to court. It's also that I could be affected by a crime. And earlier you said you provide certain kind of services where victim services are concerned. So I have a dispute with my neighbor licked me in my head. We have... We're cussing night and day, and it's causing me stress of waking up in the middle of the night. All of this is happening to me. How does victim services help me?
Okay, so the Victim Services branch supports all victims of crime. As I said before, we offer psycho-emotional support. So it's just a space for you to express your negative thoughts and your feelings. So, as Mr. Gardner said, we might be having a dispute with a neighbor, it could be a family member, and out of that, you would have been experiencing negative emotions. As a result of that, the victim service is here for you to reach out. You can come into the office for face-to-face sessions. If it is that you can't reach to us at the office, we do e-counseling. We also do counseling via video chat, WhatsApp, video conferencing as well. And sometimes we do home visits. So we can come to you if it is that you can't come to us. And in relation to the court, as I said, for the children, we also assist them with the court orientation process. So we prepare them for the process, those who need to go to give evidence in matters. We assist them with the preparation and the readiness, and we also accompany them to court while they give their evidence.
No, you see why I had to end with her, because I think what she said is the beautiful phrase, we can come to you if you cannot come to us, really is what today has been about. And that is what social justice is about. So as we bring an end to this evening's proceedings, we want to thank all of you Hanoverians for coming out and interacting with the Ministry of Justice. And we want to thank the exhibitors who are here as well. And special thanks to our panelists and presenters. And please share what you have learned with your community members. The phrase to remember is, we can come to you. If you can come to us, justice for all away. That's what it's all about. And you can contact the Ministry of Justice via the toll-free 888-JUSTICE number. That's 888-587-8423. Again, 888-JUSTICE, which is 888-587-8423. And you can email customer.service@moj.gov.jm. And you can follow us on social media at MOJOfficialJM on Instagram, on X, which is the former name of Twitter, and on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out this afternoon, coming and asking your questions. And there are still exhibitors around. There are still representatives of the Ministry of Justice around. The Justice Minister is here as well. If you have questions, you can ask any of the people here. And thank you at home on or the various social media platforms for watching as well. I'm Archibald Gordon. Take care.
Guys, conflict is normal, but how you deal with it makes a difference. You have the right to feel strong emotions such as anger and frustration. However, fighting or using intimidation does not help to resolve conflict. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. If the problem continues, talk to a responsible adult, a parent, teacher, or guardian. You can also ask the Victim Services Division, where you can speak with a counselor.